Let's jump in, Melissa. Tell me everything about you and why you do this. No, I'm just kidding. We'll slow it down a little bit. Um, I'm gonna roll this way back because there's I see some new faces on here. Welcome, you know who you are. You guys rock. Melissa, tell us about your vegan journey because I know that that started before your fitness journey. Tell them how long you've been vegan and how this happened.
Yeah, so I've been vegan for 9 years, coming up on my 10-year vegan anniversary in a couple months. I started getting curious about not eating meat anymore when my childhood best friend went vegetarian. So she was someone who I've been friends with since elementary school. We did everything together. We planned to wear matching outfits to school. We lived just a walk away from each other's house, so we were very, very close. So when she made such a drastic change as going vegetarian, I had like 100 questions. I was like, why are you doing this? What are you gonna eat? She showed me the Cowspiracy documentary and was just very patient with me anytime I asked a lot of the questions that we probably get now as vegans, like where do you get your protein? Or isn't it better to eat beef, which is one ingredient, than a beef alternative that has 20 ingredients? So just kind of dove into doing my own research too. I started eating less and less meat, buying some meat alternatives, trying some dairy alternatives, and I think it was about three months later that I decided to go vegetarian as well. And this was around the New Year 2016. It wasn't a New Year's resolution. I actually had the New Year's resolution to get in shape, get healthy, and meal prepped for the first time, meals that contain meat and dairy. And a couple days later, I just decided I can't eat meat anymore. After everything I've learned, this just feels wrong. So I literally picked the meat out of the meals that I prepped. I was just done and continued to do my own research. 3 months later, I watched Gary Yourofsky's Best Speech You'll Ever Hear, and that just broke a part of my soul. And instantly, I decided to go vegan, and I actually had it in my mind that this was going to hinder my New Year's resolution of getting healthy, but I truly didn't care. I was in it for the animals. It just didn't align with me anymore. And yeah, it was a challenging learning curve going vegan because I didn't know any other vegans in my life. I had my friend who was vegetarian, but then once my eyes were open to the horrors of the dairy industry, the egg industry, everything else, I really didn't have anyone to process that with or to talk about it with. Instead, I actually dealt with a lot of criticism from friends at school and family making fun of what I was eating, telling me I was going to gain a bunch of weight and have all these health issues. So I was really scared. I felt really alone. And yeah, my moral compass is truly the one thing that led me to keep going. And it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years later that I started my fitness journey.
Wow. Guys, I think going vegan, like the actual process isn't that difficult. Like there are so many alternatives in the grocery store. There's so much knowledge now. But I think for people like myself and Melissa that did this nearly a decade ago or more, especially when you're the first person in your family to do it, it's quite challenging to stick up for yourself and kind of draw that line in the sand and say, hey, I'm not going to be a part of this anymore, especially when you're the only person that did it. There's a huge driving factor for me why I wanted to create this vegan squad community in place for us all to be in. And Melissa's been a huge part of developing and growing this. She's been here basically actually since before day one, since we had other projects before this one. So very, very inspiring story. And it just shows how strong you are to be able to do that and stick with it, even when you're the only person. When you don't really have, it's one thing if you have like a great role model or example to follow and kind of pave you the way and show you the ropes. But it's a lot, it's like trying to learn how to ride a bike by yourself. you're gonna fall a few times. You're gonna scrape your knees, but if you get back up and try long enough, you can do it for sure. Now we've found ways to make it a lot easier for other people. So you said it was years later that you really got consistent with fitness. What changed for you there that was able to help you kind of lock in on your fitness goals?
Yeah, so I was in grad school studying speech language pathology. I had no time for myself. I was very miserable. My life was spent at internships or at school or writing papers or studying. It was just really overwhelming and also something that deep down I had known I didn't want to pursue. I was feeling the calling as I was learning myself about eating healthier and healing emotionally that I want to help people in these ways too, because this is what's really making the difference for me. But in terms of fitness, I was just really tired of feeling like crap, honestly. And someone who I had followed on Instagram who was a couple years ahead of me in the same grad program. She actually was transitioning out of working full time as a speech language pathologist and starting her own health and fitness coaching business. And so I followed her through the years as she coached others and started seeing her clients' transformations and testimonials and their stories about how they went from feeling really low energy, lacking confidence, having no time for themselves, to finding a routine that worked for them, building a strong relationship with food, knowing what to do in the gym, feeling good in their bodies, feeling good in general. And I just kept seeing these, and it got to a point where I was like, you know what? If all of these people can do it, then why not me? So she was running a 1 month challenge right before the holidays, which in my mind, this seemed like the worst time to do a fitness challenge because I was like, I don't want to give up on all these holiday desserts and treats and everything like that. But it ended up being the best thing that happened to me because it truly planted the seed that a couple days off plan is not going to ruin anything in the grand scheme of a month or a couple months or a year. And so that's really what helped me build a sustainable lifestyle with fitness. After that month, I won that 1 month challenge, got a free month of coaching with her, just continued to see progress even in that month and ended up working with her for 4 years, just really pushing my limits when it came to training and strength. Finally breaking out of the under eating, overeating cycle, which I had struggled with pretty much my whole life, and decided I wanted to compete once I started getting in the swing of all these healthy habits, feeling confident. I was like, you know what? This is something I've always wanted to do. Speaking back to role models, when I went vegan, bodybuilding is one of my first intros to veganism, actually. I found some athletes and was just super impressed that they were using their physiques as a form of activism to show what's possible as a vegan, to show that you can be healthy, get enough protein, get everything you need nutrient-wise as a vegan. And it kind of planted a seed for me that one day I would want to do the same, but it wasn't until all of these years later that I was actually working with a coach living the lifestyle that I could finally give it a go.
Very cool. It's interesting how like even just a little nudge in the right direction can kind of set you off on a whole different path. I'm sure that's how years ago we connected was because I knew Melissa was another vegan bodybuilder out there, and I didn't realize that one day the vegan squad would be a thing, but I was trying to find other like-hearted people with similar interests. So that's how we originally connected. For you, was competing more of a challenge for yourself, or was it more so for you to prove that vegans could do this on stage? Like, what was your rationale behind being crazy enough to go actually do a bodybuilding prep and get on stage?
Yeah, my initial motivation was what inspired me from those athletes was I want to show that vegans can do this, that I could be a positive, healthy example of what it means to be vegan. But I did not know how much I personally needed this journey of competing and proving to myself that I could stick to a goal like that. All of the hard days of cardio, of being hungry, of feeling like I had no time, but somehow having to get in all my steps anyway, and actually doing that every day, months over months over months. I had never stuck to a personal goal like that. All of my goals growing up felt forced on me. They were all academic related or school related. So this was the first time really that I chose to do something that no one was forcing me to do. And the belief that built in myself, the mental strength and resilience that I can do anything was so powerful for me.
Very, very true. Bodybuilding's hard. For those that have not stepped on stage, it becomes a bit harder when you actually compete. It makes everything real. You know you're going to get on stage in basically no clothes, and there's a date, and you kind of just have to show up and do your absolute best, whether or not you're feeling like it at that moment or along the way. Um, with the clients I work with, and I'll say for myself, I think it's extremely empowering to do something so hard. Like almost like I think people climb Mount Everest not because it's a great view, but because it's something really hard. And I feel like bodybuilding is similar in that realm. And then you find out just how strong you are. And I feel like it makes other things in life feel more achievable. So very, very cool there. Very cool that Melissa's using her body and her achievements as a way to spread the vegan message. I think it's really powerful that people do that. Would encourage everyone here to view themselves as an ambassador for anything that they stand for, whether that's veganism or as we were kind of talking about yesterday with Courtney, like gay rights, black rights, anything out there that you stand for, you're a representation of that. And so, Melissa, you are a phenomenal representation, at least on this episode for vegan bodybuilders. So let's bring this back around to kind of the topic at hand, the fat loss summit. What was your mindset like, both I guess in bodybuilding, but in general as far as around losing weight?
Yeah, so before I hired the coach, the first few years of veganism, I guess I'll throw it back even further. When I was a baby, I was so underweight that I had to go in for medical feedings, be force-fed calories. So growing up, I was always the skinny one, very tiny, no muscle on me at all, but also no fat, just very frail, very weak. And it was because I just underate all the time and didn't really know differently. And I was told my whole life, you're so lucky, but enjoy it now because it's going to catch up to you one day. And so that's my only perception of weight gain. And so in college, when I had access to the unlimited dining plan, I sure did gain about 30 pounds and not muscle at all. I was just putting on fat, feeling really worse, low energy, and yeah, my only knowledge of losing weight was that I would just have to eat less and starve myself. So that's where I got caught up in that under eating cycle. And I would try and starve myself for so long. But of course, you can only get so far doing that. I would end up overeating and binge eating to the point of feeling sick. And it took a really long time to actually understand nutrition and that I didn't have to starve myself. I actually needed to eat a lot more than I thought I did and I could build muscle and lose weight in the process. So that was really mind-opening and really cool to experience.
It's like a little bit of a science experiment on yourself, and you get to kind of play with the variables and see what comes out of it. I'm curious. I will figuratively raise my hand. I'm curious if anybody else, you can leave a yes if you want in the comments. Has anybody else here dealt with undereating that ended up in overeating? Like you undereat throughout the day and then you binge eat at night, or some sort of disordered eating, if you will, where maybe you don't eat much for 1 or 2 days and then you eat more on the third day. It's very, very common. I don't think most places speak about this as much as they should. I think we should be more open. Look, Ali, Dan, Melissa, myself. I'm sure there's more. Dustin, yeah, most of your life. I think it's often multifaceted. I think it's one, it could be our relationship with food, how we perceive food, and maybe what we were taught by our parents. I know for me, like growing up, I was forced to eat whatever is on my plate. So it's kind of like if I ever go out to a restaurant or even if I'm at home, if there's food on my plate, I eat it. Like it doesn't get thrown away, even if I feel sick or even if I don't feel like eating. And then We place such a big emphasis on food around the holidays, so it's easier to overeat then. And then also, I think just having the lack of a solid understanding or a solid plan can allow you to undereat throughout the day and then easily overeat at night. A lot of people think if I exercise enough, I can burn off what I eat. But really, like if you walk a mile, you might burn 100, 150 calories, or you could eat two Oreos. Like I could eat a lot of Oreos in a mile long walk. My own self speaking here. But you seem to have a pretty healthy relationship now, Melissa. Like I remember both on Thanksgiving and or maybe both Thanksgivings, you didn't end up eating like a crazy amount of food, right?
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten to a really good point of just being able to listen to my body's signals and cues of fullness and hunger and thirst. And am I just bored or am I filling an emotional void? Do I need some space to go take a walk or do I want to let myself enjoy some dessert? And sometimes the answer is more food or eating a little more off plan and enjoying the moment. But more often than not, it's making the decision that I know is going to feel good long term. And coming from me, I'm a huge foodie. I'll always choose the pizza and the indulgent desserts, but it's crazy that I used to just eat like that every day and now when I do eat that way, I'm able to enjoy it fully without guilt, look forward to those times, but then I'm equally as excited to get back on plan, eat what I know is going to digest well and help me perform well and feel good in the gym. So, yeah, the relationship that I built with food is really one of the things I'm most grateful for because I struggled with that forever.
Yeah. I think you do a great job of, at least when I'm around you, a combination, of either being on the plan with foods you enjoy or going off plan. And then you kind of have two routes there. Like Melissa made this awesome zucchini cake. There's a infamous YouTube video of us recreating it, but it was healthy. Like it was all healthy ingredients and maybe a little bit higher on calories if you were trying to keep your calories low, but very, very healthy, very yummy. And then also we just sometimes go hog wild and make those pecan bars that were just it was pecans, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a lot of those. Those were really good. You can keep making those. Um, but I think it's what Melissa was saying. Like it's that mindset around it, and it's the intentionality. Like, am I eating just because I'm bored, or am I actually hungry? I personally use the pickle analogy. Like, I like pickles, but I wouldn't necessarily look at a pickle the same way I look at a birthday cake or a green bite dessert. So if I'm feeling snacky, I'm like, do I really want a pickle right now? And I'm like, no, I just really want cake right now. And it's like, nah, you're not hungry. You just want to eat cake. Like, come on, go distract yourself, go brush your teeth, go on Instagram or something for 5 or 10 minutes and see if you're still hungry later. And then usually I'm not. Um, anyways, this is more me asking you questions, not talking about myself. So let's talk about when you worked with the first coach. Did you have an understanding and tracking of macros before working with this coach, or was this the first time that you had done that?
I had downloaded Chronometer when I first went vegan because I was watching a lot of YouTube videos from the vegan bodybuilders and just wanted to see where I was at and found out really quickly that I was eating hardly any protein, a lot of carbs, a lot of fat. So I had that awareness, but still didn't really know what to do about it. So it wasn't until I hired the coach and she gave me macros that I somehow had to figure out how to hit this protein goal. So my first coach was not vegan. She didn't give me a meal plan. So I went from eating maybe 40 or 50 grams of protein a day on my own to here's your macros. You need to hit 140 grams of protein. And I had absolutely no idea how. I had heard that beans were a good protein source and lentils and quinoa and peanut butter, but when I combined them all together, I was going really high on my carbs and fats and still just struggling a lot. So, yeah, it was a huge, huge learning curve figuring out what to eat as a vegan and still hit my macros.
Yeah, I think most traditional coaches just don't have really the knowledge to be able to support and assist. I think that's why if you're interested in going plant-based or going vegan, it helps to have a coach that knows what at least what options to send your way. So you did my method to beat your head against the wall for a very long time to try and figure things out on your own. Not the fastest or the most effective method. Um, and I did a little bit of research on you before this episode, but I've heard that there might be, and I know that in the past you were a little bit opposed to meal plans, but now you might be coming a little bit more open-minded to them.
Yeah, and I think that was my poor relationship with food before talking. I wanted the freedom to still eat meals I like or follow my cravings or have a meal out at a restaurant or off plan or at a vegan festival. And when I was coming with such an all or nothing mindset, it was either I had to hit my macros perfectly to the gram, or if I messed up, then I would just go crazy. And there was just no in between for me. So I really struggled with intuitive days or meals off plan because I would just go crazy. And we hear now, like one meal off plan won't deter your progress, but eating the way that I was eating off plan week after week was absolutely deterring my progress. But I still didn't really believe that I could get to this place that I'm at now and just be able to lock into a meal plan and still enjoy those meals off plan and have a good relationship with food. So it really is just a testament to how far I've come, how far my relationship with food has come. And now having a meal plan, I'm so grateful for because it saves me so much mental space not having to worry about what am I gonna cook this week? What do I need to grocery shop for? I have the same grocery list. I go every 3 or 4 days, meal prep twice a week. I know what I'm doing. It just saves me a ton of time and energy. So I do think there's definitely a time and place for macros, and having that knowledge is awesome. And also having the time and place for a meal plan when you want to lock in and just not worry about it. So I think that's something really cool we do with the vegan squad is no one's forcing you to do things one way or another. It really is working with you and your goals, your relationship with food, where you're at, and supporting you to get to where you want to be.
100%. I think it's extremely important. I recommend everyone here at least get a functional understanding of macros. Like almost I actually thought of this analogy right now. I don't know if it really translates or not, but macros is almost like driving a manual car. It takes a little bit more effort. Once you do it for a while, you can be a little bit more proficient with it, but it's probably good to know, a good skill to have. Whereas a meal plan is just kind of like an automatic car. You're just on autopilot. You still got to put some inputs. You still got to do some work. You got to make the food. You got to weigh it, but you don't have to actually like mentally think about every time you're changing to the next meal. So it's important, to find what works for you. And I think also in Melissa's case to try it both ways. And then you really know after you've tried both, then you kind of have an idea. So let's let's talk about you now. Like what are your personal, professional life, bodybuilding goals? Anything along that? Like what are you up to? What do you do? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so personal and professional after I graduated with my master's in speech pathology. As I mentioned, I knew it wasn't for me. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to help people. So I just was kind of desperate and was like, what can I do to start making money now? So this was in 2019. I started a copywriting business and started working with vegan coaches, vegan brands, kind of a full circle moment because that's what I do with the vegan squad. But that was what I did full time was like writing emails and websites and social media content. It felt like a form of activism for me to contribute my writing skills to reach more people, sell vegan products, things like that. And along the way, working with a coach, beginning to find my confidence, I felt called to a holistic life coaching and healing certification. So that was a year-long program that completely changed my life. It's where I learned about hypnosis, subconscious healing. I processed a lot from my whole life that I had never dealt with before and really got to connect with myself on a deeper level, build self-trust and belief, and understand my nervous system and my capacity. And it was just amazing. So, yeah, between the fitness journey, the holistic healing journey, I started to gain this confidence that I never had before and wanted to help others in this way. So that's what I do as a coach is help people build this confidence, this belief in themselves, this self-trust, and find a rhythm and a plan that works for you and your body that's not going to burn you out, which happens to be a lot of the habits that overlap with health and fitness. And so, personally and bodybuilding related, my goal is to compete again. It has already been over 3 years since I competed, and I've been feeling the itch again, but it's not something I want to rush into. So, I'm working with John now to build muscle, keep gaining strength, and I'm already seeing amazing progress just a few weeks in. So, really just reminding me of the power of having a coach and borrowing someone's belief in you is what I like to say. When I worked with my first coach, I was miserable. I felt like crap physically, but also just had a lot of the self-talk that I inherited from others that my only worth was the grades I got or my body. So when I was starting to put on weight, I felt worthless. And it was really hard to overcome that mindset. And working with my coach, seeing her belief in me was just really special. It helped me adopt that belief for myself. So I'm kind of being reminded that again, working with you, John. I know I mentioned this to you when you tell me, let's do 2 more reps next week. When I felt like I pushed as hard as I could, I'm like, wow, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then I get there and I do it. That's just the best feeling ever. So I'm excited to keep building that belief in myself while building muscle. It's a really fun personal growth journey, so much more than building a body. It really is like building yourself, and that's my favorite part.
Oh, I think you're gonna make some people cry here. I'm gonna turn my camera off for just a few moments. I'm gonna go chop some onions. I want to check in with everyone here that's listening. Did anyone get an email at all? Even one email about this event? If you could please say yes or no in the chat. Just wanna do a little touch base with everyone here. All right, we got okay, yes, lots of yeses coming through. Well, every single email that was written has been written by Melissa. So y'all can give her some credit for helping run this. The vegan squad we're actually pretty big. We have like an exec group chat. We've got about 24 people in there. And the thing is, we don't always get to like directly give credit to the people that help run this train. So Melissa has been here since before we even had the name, the Vegan Squad. She was one of the people I was next to. I was walking with her and Allie and Alex, and I was like, we should do something together. I had no clue what the something was, but I had an inkling. The universe gave me a download, if you will. I think that's how Allie might say it. And I knew that we needed to do this. And Melissa's been here helping us, sharing her love and support and guidance through emails, but also I will say through coaching. I mean, she's been whether or not directly compensated for it. She's definitely coached me, coached Alex, coached Allie. Probably everyone here has gotten something from her. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, dude. It's been an honor to get to work with you and alongside you and for you and as your coach as well. It's really cool to see you learning to believe in yourself even a little bit more. In my own journey, I thought I knew a lot, and then I worked with my second coach, and he just kept pushing the bar. He kept always telling me you could go in there and do more. And I remember a specific day where I went to deadlift, and I thought if my family's life depended on this, there's no way. But like, I don't want to send a video of me failing, so I'm just going to try my best. And then I did what he asked, and it made me realize we're all so much stronger than we allow ourselves to think we are. Like back to the car analogy, you know how there's that little red line rev limiter? Your engine can actually go a little bit faster, but that's where the car says this is probably not safe. And all of us as humans, we have that rev limiter and we're afraid to push it. We're afraid to go to the next gear, the next level. And it's really beautiful when you try. And then when you find out, wow, I am this strong. And for you, Melissa, we see it in the gym, but also outside of the gym. It's easy to believe in you. And I've seen you level up at every obstacle, every pain point, every point where it's like, hey, you could turn back here, you could stop here. It's going to be really hard here. You don't have to, and you just keep going through it. So I'm incredibly proud of you as a human, as a coach. We're really really grateful to have you on the team. And while we didn't do it today, and we should definitely do it soon, Melissa would be the person to reach out if you're at all interested in subconscious healing. She is our expert on the team for that. You guys can reach her in school. I find her through me or through the emails or something. Find her if that's something that's interesting to you. But yeah, I kind of rambled there, but thank you for writing the emails and thank
Oh,
you for just being
thank
an
you.
awesome human.
Yeah, making me cry over here. It's really cool because when I went vegan in 2016, I knew I wanted to do something like this. Like I started my food blog in 2016. I remember being in my grad school classes writing guest blog posts for other bloggers. Like I was always taking steps in the right direction. I just didn't quite know how everything was going to turn out, and it's just really awesome being able to look back and see how each decision and choice and connection with you guys just like let us all hear. So I think for everyone listening, if you feel called to something bigger, you feel called to make a change that you don't know how it's going to work out, you don't know the steps. You might not even know a single person in your life yet who's going to help you get there. So just keep taking the next right step. You don't know what you don't have to know what the path is going to look like yet, but just listen to those inner nudges and whispers. And if you're not familiar with how to do that, like John said, just reach out. That's what I work with people to do. But yeah, it's really special both building belief in myself, but also seeing the people around me follow their callings and just expand to, I think, like the worst thing to me in life feels like wasted potential. So that's like a big driver for me to not let any obstacles stop me. Because what else am I gonna do? Like stay the same or get worse? No, that just doesn't feel like an option to me.
Aw. And you've helped me a lot on my own journey. There have been a number of days where things have felt heavy or hard, and you've given me some words of wisdom to help me keep moving forward. And uh, I can't thank you enough, my friend. I just want to say, you guys can keep writing nice things. We'll read them here in a moment, but there's a lot of nice things over there. I want to say this is the sales pitch. Here we go. I get you people in here, you awesome, wonderful group of people willing to listen to us talk. I get you through things like fat loss or building muscle or building your physique or stepping on stage. That's how we get you in the room. But the truth is, that's the surface level. That's the ice sticking out of the iceberg that you can see, but underneath there's 90% more. Your journey in life is not just losing fat. It's not just building a physique. I was bullied a lot as a kid, and I thought becoming the world's biggest vegan bodybuilder might actually help me get some confidence. But it's not so much the body. It's not so much what you can do by changing your physique, by losing fat. Like, yes, that's a big part of it, but it's who you become in the process. And for me, being in this community, and for me as a coach, of course, the first couple weeks we're mostly talking about how to lose the fat and get that rolling. But you become close with your clients. You go down some paths. I've had clients that have had divorces while I've been their coach. I've had clients that have lost their family members while I was their coach. And it's funny how things in life can happen to you, but also for you. I lost my father to cancer, and then within the next 6 months, three of my clients lost one of their parents. And I think had that not happened for me, I wouldn't have known how to respond to them in any way that I would have felt like I was being authentic. And so all I'm trying to say here is we start with fat loss, but that's not where this ends. This is something that will change your life. Working with someone like Melissa, being around these people, I swear on my life, it will change your life if you allow it to. Um, so now before I cry, I'm going to just read other people's things and make Melissa cry. So we've got Allie. Thank you, Melissa. We love you for all you do for the Vegan Squad. We love you. Vegan Squad, aka Alex, said, thank you so much for everything you do for the team and the world. Dustin, thank you, Melissa, for all that you do. We love you with a smiley face. Miranda, Melissa is so amazing. I'm grateful to know her. Um, Ashley, Melissa is the kindest, most supportive, caring person I've ever met, and I'm so glad our paths have crossed in our lifetime with a hug emoji. I'm getting a little jealous here, Ashley, because I've met you once, but okay. Courtney says you're always such a calm and beautiful energy from Melissa. Batty said this community is nothing like I've ever seen in my life. Thank you, Batty. Thank you for being here. Ashley, again, I wholeheartedly believe that Melissa is the reason why I'm not scared of some things anymore. She's given me the strength to push through the fear and do big, scary things. My upcoming trip is another big, scary thing, but I believe I will prevail past the fear because of Melissa. She's an amazing human being. There's a couple more.
Oh,
Ali says, Melissa creates a safe place for everyone in her presence. She listens, inspires, and shares compassion for all. Courtney also says she loves you.
oh, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Like, if me from 10 years ago could see who I would be surrounded with, like, I just wouldn't believe that it could be this good and like that I could meet so many like-hearted people who are also deeply caring and making the world a better place. Like that was just all I wanted was to feel like I'm not alone in my beliefs and what I want and what I feel capable of. So I'm equally as inspired and grateful for each and every one of you.
I'm not equipped to reply to all this. Thank you, Melissa.
I don't think I am either.
We did not script this, but this is the environment that we create here. And I think that this is the environment that we all, as humans, we have this desire to be a part of. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Melissa, for sending all the emails to invite all the people to join. Um, yeah, let's. We got it just a couple minutes. Does anyone have any questions for Melissa? Anything? She's clearly a very wise human. If there's anything you're struggling with, or just any curious cats in the room that want to ask something, please drop it in. Makes these things more fun than us just coming up with every question, or at least me.
Yeah, please feel free to ask anything vegan related, healing related, crying
If you're
related.
crying related, yes. Oh, Courtney's got a question.
Oh, what is your advice for someone that is scared to do subconscious healing? This is a really good question, and I think this is why I'm also passionate about bringing somatic healing along with subconscious healing. So, for those not familiar with the terms, our subconscious mind is the 95% of things happening beneath the surface that basically run our lives. So, our thoughts, our beliefs, our patterns, our ways of being that we're not consciously aware of, usually that we inherit from family or from society or from traumatic events. And I think somatic healing is really important because it's doing this work at a pace that feels safe for your nervous system. It's understanding the language of your body, the different states of your nervous system when you're in a sympathetic state of hyperarousal and need to discharge excess energy through movement, or when you're in a parasympathetic nervous system state. I won't go too deep into this, but you can break that down even further to am I in a calm, regulated state, or am I in a state of shutdown where my body's just giving up, my digestion's affected, I don't have energy, I'm not sleeping. So it's really learning and understanding what your body is trying to communicate with you so that you can safely explore what's underneath the surface subconsciously. So I think having a lot of the healthy habits in place that we teach here, like a consistent training routine, eating enough, moving, sleeping enough, are not to be underestimated. Those really are foundational to doing this work. When I took that holistic life coaching and healing program, I wasn't yet in all the habits of taking care of myself in this way, and I didn't feel regulated. I didn't feel fully supported. It was a little dysregulating to face some of the traumas I had without being able to hold myself through it. So I think just being able to have habits that anchor you is super, super important first step. But yeah, doing any new work like this can definitely be scary, but I think like anything, taking these steps outside of our comfort zones can be really healing and just you never know what's on the other side of it. Yeah, I don't think I've done a subconscious healing session where I didn't cry or I didn't feel emotionally hungover and depleted afterwards, but that's so normal. And then the work that you do in that session and the healing that happens on the other side of that, you never regret it.
Courtney, you're not afraid of 95-pound dumbbell split squats, so I think you could handle a
I was
subconscious.
gonna say,
Or
definitely.
That's
Yeah,
my limit, though. See, I can push myself physically, but still trying to get there for Melissa's help.
that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, you'll get there at a pace that feels true for you. That's what I always tell everyone is not to compare timelines or capacities or journeys. I see the way John works, and sometimes I feel like I need to be working more, but if I'm realistic with myself, I'll burn out. So, same with healing. Some people can't fathom sitting down to do an hour-long meditation or hypnosis. If so, just start with 5 minutes of breath work. If that feels intimidating, set a 1 minute timer to just put your hand on your heart, breathe, slow down. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Just taking the journey at your own pace is most important.
just even your voice, Melissa, it's nice and comforting.
Aw.
uh, we stayed together for a while, and then Melissa left, and I looked at Allie. I was like, "The house is quieter," and she's like, "Melissa's quiet anyways." I was like, "I know, but it's just that like energy that she has about her."
Aw.
Um, Stephanie has a question here. She has a statement. She wants to be you. She has some of the same interests, and then also, what about pain in the body? I have arthritis, and or is that something caused by unsealed traumas and nervous systems? And she might be interested in taking a class in the future.
I'm definitely not a medical professional, so I'm not sure about healing arthritis in that way. But I will say, in general, a lot of emotional pain that we experience does manifest physically. So even if it's not the main or only contributing factor to your arthritis, I would say it never hurts to dig into our emotions and heal them. It can only help. So, if you are getting treated for the arthritis, I would just say supplementing with emotional or subconscious healing is absolutely something I would recommend to anyone.
Awesome. All righty. Any final state? Where can people find you, Melissa? Can somebody? All right, hold up. I'm gonna do this while I ask the last question, then we'll move on. Alex said, "What is a somatic tool you suggest to practice daily?" And that'll be the last one there.
I love this question, and I would actually say I recommend doing what works for you. So, somatic tools that work for me might feel activating to you, or something that feels supportive when you're in an anxious, sympathetic state might make it feel worse or impossible to do if you're in a shutdown state. So, that's kind of the tip of the iceberg, I would say, is understanding your nervous system and where you're at. But I would also say, like I was just saying to Stephanie, things that we can do to regulate ourselves will tend to only help and not hurt. So, breath work is a very simple one. Like I mentioned, just slowing down, putting a hand on your heart, taking a nice deep breath is something we can all practice. I love a somatic exercise called the VU sound. We do this on our Tuesday calls sometimes. It's what it sounds like making the Voo sound with a very deep register, holding the voo for as long as you can. Just a really great way to activate our vagus nerve deep into our gut. Feel the vibration of it. You can put a hand on your stomach, and yeah, it's just a great way to discharge excess energy when you're feeling anxious or want to feel a bit more in the present moment. Super simple somatic tool anyone can add to their toolbox.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're gonna have to we're gonna have to definitely have a deep dive, another class with you. I'm gonna drop for everybody here. It's kind of an inside joke, but Melissa is my plant-based friend. But she can also be your plant-based friend. Her Instagram handle is my plant-based friend, and so you guys can find her there, see her content. But she's also in the Vegan Squad and one of our amazing coaches here. So you guys can reach out if you want to do a somatic or subconscious healing session with her. Courtney, I think we might have to get this set up. I think we should record one, Melissa, so that we can kind of share it with the world. Let's just throw Courtney on blast, just record the whole thing.
Yes. I mean, I'm down. Well, I am not vulnerable. I would do that.
Oh.
Or we record the second one. You get the first one, the real deal. Or I will record mine because I'm open to being a science experiment. All right. I'm gonna run to the bathroom, and I think Alex is gonna take you guys through it. I don't know what he's in the other room. I'll I'll let you run the show, Alex. I'm gonna get coffee,
Okay.
run to the bathroom, and then I'm gonna show you guys my own take on losing fat from a bodybuilder's perspective. So I'll be back in just a few. Thank you
Oh yeah.
so much, Melissa. You are one of the coolest people I've ever met in this lifetime, and I sincerely hope to be this close or closer with you until the day I die. So thank you for being
Thank
here.
you all so much for having me and for all your kind words. It means a lot.
Thank you, Melissa. That was awesome. I love learning more about you. And I love how vulnerable we got. I was crying too. I was like,
Yeah.
damn,
I
so
feel like
touching.
it's not a session with me unless someone cries. So crying is
Accurate.
always welcome. It's a great way to discharge excess energy, like we were talking about, coming more into regulation. So thank you all again.
Thank you. Yeah. If you want to stick around, also somebody else had a question, but yeah, no, I appreciate you speaking about crying that mu in that way. I feel like we're not really taught to cry, and like it's seen as a bad thing, but really it's good. Like it's emotional regulation, just allow you to get your feelings out. So thank you. Stephanie asked, does fasting help connect to your vagus nerve?
That's a good question. I'm actually not sure of that answer, but I can get back to you. I know I've heard that fasting can help you tune in spiritually, but I would also say, especially as women, we need to be careful with fasting, just because it can quite easily disrupt our hormones. So, I am not someone who's comfortable with advising fasting to my clients, but if you are working with a medical professional who recommends that, then yeah, I don't know. I've heard and had different experiences with fasting, but I'm unsure of the connection with the vagus nerve there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Sweet. Well, if y'all want to take a 5 minute break, we'll be hanging out in this room. If you want to drop any thoughts, questions, or anything in chat, we're very happy to do so. And I'm just going to drop the link again if you would like to apply for that free month of coaching. You'll also receive the resources from the summit if you missed the last few presentations, like the presentations from yesterday, and extra resources. And you'll also get a free month in our community. So you can go and hang out with Melissa. We also have a lot of pre-recorded meditations in there and yoga sessions and other videos to help you along in your journey. You also get to connect with like-hearted people like you see here in the vegan family that we've been forming over time. So yeah, definitely check it out. Apply here. Once you apply, coach will be in touch with you to get on a call to get you all set up and squared away. Vegan meetups by each area, that would be great. We are actually planning to organize some vegan meetups in 2026. We might be doing one in Orlando in the next few months, so we'll definitely keep you updated there in the community. But yeah, we want to do some more vegan meetups because we know, yeah, woohoo, we know like the most challenging thing of being vegan is being alone and doing it and just being in the non-vegan world.